Right, I'm up here today in the northeast and I've come to look at some rent-to-rent properties.
£450 a month this one is in rent.
450, you heard that right, by the way. People rewinding it and listening again or checking the captions. So £450 a month in rent. And
this kitchen I think was about £250. Got this off Facebook Marketplace. This hot tub was £5,500. I can't remember I think I did buy this one outright actually, but the difference that it makes in a nightly price is actually crazy. So we got 3 houses in this village, all within sort of a mile of each other, and the other properties go for around about £90 a night, whereas this one through the week's about £180 a night, and it's £300 per night on a weekend.
But you didn't just have the one property, did you, at the time?
No.
So when you started off with your rent-to-rent, how many properties did you get?
16 in the first 10 months. You think I got started with this and I didn't have any savings, I didn't have any money, but within 2 years I was buying properties up here for cash.
They're welcome, aren't they?
You're welcome.
They're welcome. Right, I'm up here today in the northeast and I've come to look at some rent-to-rent properties. So Helen has kindly allowed me to come round and have a look at one of her properties in the northeast. I would knock on the door to see if she's in, but up here nobody locks the door, so I might as well just open the door and find my way in. Helen?
Hi.
There you are, perfect. So, come on in. So what am I looking at here? This is a rent-to-rent property. Talk me through. It'd be nice to have a little look around the place.
Yeah.
See what you've done and get a little look at the numbers. People want to know, is it actually financially worthwhile? I'm sure, spoiler alert, it is.
It is.
And a little bit of a chat about what people need to know about rent-to-rent. So talk me through this property first of all. How long have you had this one?
So I've had this one for around about 4 or 5 years now actually, yeah.
4 or 5 years, so it's
Yeah.
quite a long time. And big question, first question, I'm going to start strong. How much do you pay in rent?
£450 a month this one is in rent.
450, you heard that right, by the way. People rewinding it and listening again or checking the captions. So £450 a month in rent. And explain that to me, because some people where I'm from in the sunny south can't rent a garage for £450 a month. So is that normal for the market here, or did you just find a unique unicorn deal?
Yeah, it is. Look, it is for the market, but look, I found this one 4 years ago. So when I was riding past on my horse, I looked in one day and there were some people here doing work and it was completely dirty, really run down. The guy who lived in it previously, been in here for about 30 years, had no work done to it whatsoever, and he'd sadly passed away. So when I asked the landlord if he would sell it, unfortunately there's a clause on it, so it couldn't be sold, but he did agree to rent it. I said, look, I'll rent it off you and I'll arrange to get all of the work done on the property as long as you just pay for it. So it's completely hands off for him. Now he did try and push the rent up to $550, then it was $500, and I just said,
animal.
look.
Absolute animal. How dare he?
And I said, look, $450 at the time works for me because I was a bit concerned at the beginning about how seasonal this area was going to be. So I knew at $450 I would be fine, and I was also going to spend a little bit of money on it as well. So it felt like it was a fair exchange.
So you touched on seasonality. So rent-to-rent, quick explainer alert, is when you rent a property from the landlord, you use that property with their permission for something else to generate cash flow. Could be HMO, could be service accommodation, which is short-term lets. In this case, it's service accommodation. When you say seasonality, what market are you appealing to with this particular property?
So this was always going to be tourism market. So at the time, I'd only really dealt with contractors. This is my first one going into just tourism itself. Hence why when I show you around, I put a hot tub in and tried to make it as nice as possible.
Fair enough. Now, we started talking about numbers. We'll finish to talk about numbers in a little bit, but let's have a little look around. So the landlord paid for this to be this new kitchen?
Yeah, look, I didn't go wild with it. I didn't take the mick with it. I said, look, I've managed to find a kitchen second hand. I didn't need everything to be amazing. I just needed everything to be functional.
How did you find it and how much was it?
This kitchen, I think, was about £250. Got this off Facebook Marketplace.
I think I need to move up to the north and live like a king. I think that's what I need to do. Right.
Yeah, obviously didn't want to take the mick with it, so I wasn't going to go out there and get a brand new kitchen. I just wanted it to be a win-win. I didn't want him to be spending a fortune on it. And it's fine. I mean, it's not gorgeous, but it works. It does the job. It's clean.
Well, it's served you well for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
So,
I had to get a new oven. That was the only thing I had to get.
oh, well, I bet that broke the bank. Right. Show me around. Let's take a look. What am I looking at here? What have we got?
So in here we decided to put in a log burner. Just it's the tourism market. So what we put in, it was going to be a little bit different and to make people feel like nice and cosy and somewhere where they'd want to come with their families or as a couple. So yes, I did a little refurb in here, plastered it all, decorated it, and put furniture in. Again, my friend bought a sofa, she didn't want it, so I managed to buy that off my friend. Facebook Marketplace for the table.
So there's a top tip, Facebook Marketplace to get things. And it was interesting because you don't need to buy brand new stuff.
No.
Because as long as it's in good condition, people are going to be using it anyway. So the novelty of being brand new is going to wear off after a few guests come around and stay.
Yeah, so it does. Things get broken. Like, I think this is out of the charity shop. That's our Facebook Marketplace. So things do get broken.
By Facebook Marketplace.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
no.
fine.
Things do get broken, and you can't become attached to things. So there are nice furniture as we go through. I'll take you a little bit further.
Let's have a look.
So obviously went a little bit more luxury in here. So the mattress in here was a few £1,000, but I know. That's my.
But that's completely out of proportion with every single other thing you've done in this whole place.
So I really wanted to get good reviews, and I know from the past with my other properties that a lot of people comment on the mattresses and the comfort. So I went for the brand new at the time, all singing, all dancing, Simba mattress.
Is it one where you can balance a cup and jump up and down on the bed?
I mean, we can try it.
We can try it. There's only one way to find out.
Don't think Eve will be too happy about that. And I got Simba pillows, and then I also went a little bit higher end with the furniture. The furniture was quite expensive, but what I didn't do was buy it outright. I just put the furniture on finance for, I think it was a year.
Okay.
So then it came out of the profit.
So at least the furniture and it came out of the cash flow as you went along.
Exactly.
And then you own it at the end?
Yeah, I own it all at the end.
Fine.
Yeah.
Well, this is it's a lovely room. It's a great job.
And then obviously in all of my houses I always put a TV in the bedroom as well, so that people can relax and watch TV.
You've got a voile as well, it's very nice.
Double curtain pull with a voile. Always looks good for your photo shoot, top tip.
Good job. And it is very clean in here as well. So you've obviously got a good, great cleaners doing a fantastic job.
Always. So in this room, this is a twin room, but on the photo shoot I've got it done as a twin, but I've also got it done as a super king, so that people know if they're coming as two couples that they can either have it as two double beds, or they can have it as, they can bring their kids and have it as separates. So that's a good point as well. They're zip and link beds, so they zip together. But yeah, apart from that, it's pretty much similar. TV, and actually might be worth mentioning these are quite handy. So these rooms are actually quite small, so just want to pan the camera around. Rather than putting wardrobes in, I put these in instead, because they are easy to hang people's clothes up. Less likely that things are going to get left or hidden in them when people leave. Like, we've had all sorts of things found in random drawers. So these are quite useful, and they don't take up much space. So another little tip if you've got small space.
Sounds good. After you.
Bathroom again. This was very cheap.
Very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Fairly cheap. Facebook Marketplace, 50 quid.
No, just this is the thing about new bathrooms. So you see sinks and toilets and baths, and they're an absolute fortune. But I just got the basic sink, basic toilet, put nice cladding on the walls, and yeah, it's just straightforward. It's nice, it's fresh, it's new, but it didn't cost a fortune.
I mean, the cladding on the walls is a good point, because rather than getting tiles and having to clean the mould out of the grout or worry about broken grout, this sort of stuff is obviously quite hard wearing and good to clean down. I notice you've also got the shampoo and the body wash in dispensers, which means you don't have all of the disposable shampoos and better for the planet, of
yeah,
course.
but it's just convenient for the guests as well. So you know yourself when you're going away, if you forget something, it's so handy that everything's already there.
Spot on. Brilliant.
Perfect. Should we
Show me more. Show
head
me
outside?
the resistance.
As always, it's a beautiful day in the north.
Here in the sunny northeast, eh? What a fine day for it.
So this was all just weeds. So we had all hardcore put down. I also got my flags off Facebook Marketplace.
I'm getting the theme here.
We didn't actually have quite enough to do it, so you'll see around the edges I got a different kind and made a little pattern. But again, managed to get these for £150, and it did the whole place.
Nice.
So a long day lifting. Me and my sister were lifting this into a trailer, but it all worked out and it got fitted. I've got in here a gas fire pit. Again, just guest experience, so they can sit out here, light the fire pit, have the good views, and relax in the hot tub.
And it's a lovely view. What's over the back?
Normally we've got cows here, and the cows come and say hi, but they're not kicking around today. Must be inside still.
And of course you got the hot tub. So talk me through the logic and the rationale behind having a hot tub. I know it's tourist market, but surely this costs a lot of money to run. Surely it's expensive to put in, unless you got it from Facebook Marketplace.
No, it didn't. This hot tub was £5,500. I can't remember whether I think I did buy this one outright actually, but the difference that it makes in a nightly price is actually crazy. So we've got 3 houses in this village, all within sort of a mile of each other, and the other properties go for around about £90 a night, whereas this one through the week's about £180 a night, and it's £300 per night on a weekend, whereas the other one's like £100, £110 a night on a weekend. So
nice.
this is well worth
some much higher nightly rates, presumably higher occupancy rates, and obviously very appealing to the holiday market. People are just as happy on days like today in February, where sitting in a hot tub as they would be in the middle of the summer, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. It also is really useful for seasonality as well, because if people are coming away at this time of year, they're looking for a little bit of warmth, a bit of luxury. The seasonalities aren't as clear when you've got a hot tub, whereas if you haven't got one, I think you're less likely to get booked up in a tourist area like this throughout the winter months. So I do think it makes a difference.
Awesome. Well, let's go inside where it's a little bit warmer and you can take me through the numbers. Okay, cool. So, numbers wise, you said 450 quid a month rent, and have you fixed that from when you first took on the property then?
Yeah, that's fixed in the lease, yeah.
For how long?
7 years, I think this one's
7 years,
yeah.
right. So you've got a lease for 7 years, but the rent doesn't change, it's 450 quid. And roughly what do the bills come in at?
Bills come in at a couple of hundred a month. I think the electricity is around about 180 on a direct debit, and then the oil, it varies because we don't have gas here, we have oil, so I'd say I have to top the oil tank up. It's about £350 every 2 months, I think. So yeah,
cool. Okay, and so once you take out your expenses, which is primarily your rent and your bills, what sort of profit are you left with on a monthly basis?
So this one does vary. I'd say on average over the year it makes around about £2,000 a month profit across the board.
So roughly about £2,000. When you took on this property initially, were you a full-time property investor? What were you doing?
No, I wasn't. I was teaching at the time when I took this property on. So actually, at the time, my teacher wages will have been about, I think I was getting £1,280 a month after tax and pension and everything had come off. So
right.
This property alone was more than what I was getting teaching.
So this one house brought more than you're teaching in completely, just this one property alone. But you didn't just have the one property, did you, at the time?
No.
So when you started off with your rent-to-rent, how many properties did you get?
16 in the first 10 months.
16 in the first 10 months is pretty good going.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I was a lot younger and I had a lot more energy then.
I think you've got plenty of energy now. Right, so, I mean, this is a good example. So this particular property then is roughly on average £2,000 a month profit from somebody else's property, and you got 16 of those in the first 10 months. So what advice would you give to someone kicking off? Because a lot of people hear the idea of rent-to-rent, they go, oh, it sounds like a good idea, but surely it doesn't work. I mean, you've done it, you're living proof, you're still doing it to this day, you've still got properties. What advice would you give to someone starting out?
Oh, what advice would I give? Look, anything that you want to do that you genuinely believe will work, will work. For me, it was finding the right area, and it was making sure that I was careful with my numbers. Again, because of this one, I wasn't 100% sure how it would go. I was very sort of careful up front with how much rent I was going to agree to pay. So anyone who's thinking about getting started, I think just do your numbers, really understand your area. But this does work. Like I'm still taking on rent-to-rents now, even though I buy properties, I refurb them now. Sometimes you just can't say no to them because they do cash flow. And if you've got a couple of rent-to-rents cash flow and you won £2,000 a month, you don't need very many to start building the pot to get going. You think I got started with this and I didn't have any savings, I didn't have any money, but within 2 years I was buying properties up here for cash. So it really did. This allowed me to get started. Although this is a business, this allowed me to start doing what I like to do, which is buy properties.
What's the minimum profit you'd recommend somebody look for on a rent-to-rent?
It depends. I think ideally you want to be getting around about £1,000 a month, but sometimes you've got to remember that it can get quieter. So I'd say no less than £500 a month.
So absolute bare minimum 500 is the profit you should be looking for, but £1,000 it would be a decent benchmark.
One, yeah.
So I suppose then it's very easy to scale up. You've got 5 properties, you've got £5,000 a month, and are you still a teacher now?
No. No more teaching.
No more teaching. Well, you're teaching people how to invest and create financial freedom.
How to make money this time, yeah.
How to make money. Fine. Brilliant. Well, there you heard it. That's rent-to-rent as a strategy. It's an example of one of Helen's many rent-to-rent properties. And as I always like to say, if you enjoy this content, like, subscribe, and of course, they're welcome, aren't they?
You're welcome.
They're welcome.